We just saw Lucy, and on this show, I take my friends out to see some movies. We do a quick review of the movie, and then we discuss it in more detail. The review doesn't have any spoilers in it, so you can kind of get a feel for who we would recommend it to. And the discussion part, anything's fair game, so if you do want to go see it, don't watch that part. So, Lucy, this is Scarlett Johansson. It's been the year of Scarlett Johansson. She's been in a lot of movies this year, and she's been in a lot of good movies this year. This is a movie that's going to be really hit or miss with people. There are a lot of people that are going to hate it. There are a lot of people that are going to be like, and there's going to be people that feel like, you can kind of get behind the concept or the ideas of it. It's just not the best executed or the best way to present the concepts that it has. I enjoyed the movie, but it's hard to recommend it to anyone. I would recommend it to people that are fans of Luc Besson movies, particularly things like The Fifth Element, or even a little bit La Femme Nikita. But, if you're the type of person that likes your sci-fi pretty close to the vest, or you're really put off by the fact that there's that it starts with the fallacy that we only use 10% of our brains, it's just going to get worse from there for you. So that's my quick version of it. I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed it from a concept perspective and existential perspective. I liked the execution of the action scenes and some of the sequences. The science was all garbage, and that's basically it for me. What did you guys think?
I'm really, really divided on this one. As a film and entertainment to watch, I was interested to watch it. There was tension. There was some pretty good action sequences and stuff. But for me, the premise of it was completely ridiculous. I almost expected the Monty Python guy to jump out and go, "Stop it, it's silly." It was so ridiculous that not even Morgan Freeman's voice could save it from sounding totally preposterous. And that wouldn't be a big deal, because hey, it's just a movie. But for anyone that's thinking it's just a movie, the science is front and center. There's a lot of exposition, and I just could not get past how ridiculous it was. But it's definitely there's some intensity to it. So there's moments I liked, but as a movie, it was a mess.
Yeah. Anybody?
I felt it was powerfully dumb. Visually stimulating, but I have a hard time really saying there was much of anything going on in this movie. It was
Plot-wise.
Yeah, it was essentially, let's take a triad gangster movie and mix 2001: A Space Odyssey with it. And that's all I really got out of it.
And some superhero.
There's some superheroes. I would have preferred they dive more into that instead of where they ended up going.
Yeah.
But
what'd you think?
I think I'm more with Dale. I had a pretty good time watching it. I enjoyed it. I kind of knew what to expect going in because of the trailers, because I know the whole 10% brain thing puts a lot of people off. So if that annoys you, don't watch this movie at all.
Yeah.
I can easily hand wave that. That's the logic of this universe. That's fine. I can deal with it. They follow the progression in the movie as to what those increasing cerebral capacity numbers mean. So I was on board with it from the beginning because I knew what to expect. So that really didn't bother me in the least. And I think, like Matthew mentioned, we talked a little bit about it before the car. There's not so much a plot. It's more the story really is the progression of the power. Everything else is just kind of...
Yeah, it's exploring what happens to her.
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of exploring that. So I think in that sense, I don't know, I felt really entertained. I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch. I really liked it. And like Dale said, it's really hard to recommend to people. I don't know who I would say, as long as you're able to really, really turn on your suspension of disbelief, then you could probably enjoy this movie, but you have to be able to click that over pretty hard.
I mean, Besson writes a lot of movies. He writes more than you'd think. Checking out his listing for movies that he's written, he writes and directs as well, but not as frequently as he just writes movies, or he has like a concept someone else directs and makes into a movie. And I actually think, as both the writer and director in this movie, he's actually firing on all cylinders as a director, but not as a writer. I think this movie's slightly underwritten. I think it could have used another person to look at it and go, is that really what you want to say about this? Is that really what you want to do with this? But anyway, that's the movie review. If you want to see the movie and not hear discussion of plot devices and spoilers and that sort of thing, now's the time to tune out. We'll dig into this a little bit more. So, I'm kind of a sucker for his stuff. I give him a little bit more leeway on things than other writers and directors. He's made some of my favorite movies. And like, a lot of people hate The Fifth Element as an example.
Well, those people are monsters.
There's a lot of people that hate The Fifth Element for a lot of the same reasons that you guys have problems with this movie.
It was a Dawn Fincher movie. That was
exactly that's my point. And so it's if you look at The Fifth Element and you say, oh well, that could never happen. That's not how anything would really work. Flying cars wouldn't really be this way. If you get really pedantic and go into all of the details and stuff of that, you get sidetracked from actually enjoying what you're watching. There's also a lot of people that think it's like cribbing way too much from Star Wars. I actually think it's superior to Star Wars in a lot of ways, but that's just me. But looking at his work as a director and as a writer, it's a substantial piece for him, but it's a very strange sort of existential thing for him to have written. And it's weird. It's weird to have him have Scarlett Johansson in an existential movie in the same year that she was in Under the Skin, which is an even more existential movie, an even more like bizarre science fiction.
It's a really weird genre mix. Like, you've got Scarlett Johansson essentially playing Black Widow with superpowers.
Yeah.
There's the Tree of Life mixed in. There is the 1990s Luc Besson stuff, where the gun battles and stuff are very, very 1990s kind of style.
Yeah.
Very
The Professional.
very old school kind of, So it's just, and then you've got the gangster thing, the Asian gangsters and stuff. It's just like this mix of like 3 or 4 different movies that, for me, felt like a mess. Although I enjoyed the intensity of it.
And it's got his humor in it.
It does have humor, and it has some strong scenes, some strong, like I said, very strong visuals. It's just what you were asked to buy into in this cutaway, the weird cutaways to the percentage of your brain you're using, and the cutaways to
Samsara footage.
Sahara footage of just gazelles being eaten and stuff like that to illustrate how much, I guess, like we're animals we currently are, I guess is what the...
Actually, I think I really enjoyed that in the opening sequence where, it was... it was really hitting it on the head there for a bit, but, she's the antelope and here's the predators on her. But I thought it was an interesting message, and it was a cool way to put it. I kind of actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and they were throwing that in with the Morgan Freeman exposition machine where they would, like, cut to some nature scene or some stock footage or something like that. And none of that bothered me because I really felt like, to me, the idea that they told it in the amount of time that they told it in, they framed it inside of an action movie. They could have just as easily made a Tree of Life that was just freaking stock footage and long shots and boredom for 3 hours. And they also could have made like a 10-part miniseries where, Morgan Freeman and Scarlett Johansson's characters don't intersect until the 5th episode, and then it starts like developing from there. And so you have a 10-hour version of the story. And I felt like by using the stock footage and by using the percent counter that kept coming up, it was like it took all of the doubt out of where the director was telling us, this is where we are in the story.
Okay.
This is where we are in the progression.
So my thoughts are, I guess if you're really into like Akira or the ending of Neo Genesis Evangelion, this would be like right up your alley, because this probably could have easily been an anime.
I felt that way through the whole thing. That there was a problem with that the concept had merit. That there was a good idea in there, and that the direction and the action and all that stuff, like that stuff was great. And Bassan's really good at that stuff. But it felt like, yeah, it was on the weird side where like I wanted it to be like a Japanese movie that was dubbed or an anime or something like that, where there was just enough of it allows you to disengage just enough from it being like, this isn't a straight ahead story. Like goofy stuff is allowed to happen in this world.
And goofy stuff did happen in this world.
Yeah. And you kind of have to accept that. What did you guys think of Scarlett Johansson's performance?
Good.
I was happy with it.
Actually,
yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
Wonderful, actually. Despite the fact I had problems with the
And
movie.
I think I like we kind of talked about it on the way in. You know, there's that whole 180 flip, because the whole beginning of the movie she's very emotional with everything, which I thought that was like that. A lot of that felt really visceral with her being kidnapped and all that. And then suddenly like that thing clicks as she gets with her drugs, and then now she's this very like it was a pretty 180 for like her.
I was curious how you guys took that, because I agree that she really established herself as a normal, vulnerable, scared when she should be scared,
Right.
crying when she should be crying type of human being in those first couple of scenes. And that was very important because that was so missing from the rest of the movie. Having seen her in Under the Skin this year,
Was it kind of a similar performance?
it was kind of it's a similar character.
Sure.
Her character in Under the Skin is kind of robotic as well. Not robotic, but like emotionless.
Sure.
She's like, Mr. Spock kind of personality.
She did look like she was about to cry most of the time from the beauty of seeing the world or something. I don't know.
Well, and there was that scene where she called her mother.
Yeah.
And she was like there wasn't any emotion in her voice, but she was crying.
Yeah, while she's having invasive surgery,
Yeah, which she can't feel.
which she can't feel. Yeah,
I thought there was no, honey, are you high right now?
Yeah,
I can feel my brain.
yeah.
I can remember the taste of your milk.
If I called my mom and said that to her,
Forgot about that.
I'm really like tempted to call my mom and say, "Mom, I remember every kiss you've ever given me, every time you've touched me on the head. I remember the taste of your milk." And then just to see like how long she would let me talk before she'd be like, "Dale, are you all right?
Did you take something?
Those Oxycontin, you
Can I
can't
send
go,
the police?"
can't go crazy with them.
It's true.
It's awesome. All right, well, that is Lucy. I hope you enjoyed our review. If you like these reviews, you like the way we do this, please like the video and subscribe. It helps us out quite a bit. And check out the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks. We'll see you next time.